Today I'll be demonstrating how to operate a lathe and its uses. Many of you have not heard of a lathe, so before we get started, I'll explain its purposes and applications. Lathes are machines that operate by rotating a wooden, plastic, glass, or metal workpiece on an axis so that the machines can cut, drill, sand, thread, or face it to be symmetrical on that same rotating axis. Lathes have actually had a long history and date as far back as 1300 BC. These lathes were powered by one person pulling on a rope to spin the workpiece and another person using a tool to cut the piece. Lathes slowly improved from there until the Industrial Revolution, where they played a large role in factories and machine shops, producing parts for the military, automotive industry, and much more. A major technology advancement that occurred because of the lathe is the capability to easily thread metal and create screws and bolts that are used in almost all aspects of production fabrication. Today, lathes can be controlled by a computer rather than a person and create much more precise and complicated products with much more consistency. Lathes today can be used to turn anything from large propeller shafts for aircraft to small pens as a hobby. There are a variety of different lathes that have varying purposes. These include glass lathes, wood lathes, metal lathes, and CNC lathes. Today we'll be focusing on the metal lathe that you see behind me. This lathe has variable spindle speeds, can thread, and includes a mill. Safety is the most important thing to remember when operating a lathe. Always remember to avoid loose items, baggy clothing, jewelry, and always remember to wear your safety glasses. Now let's begin learning about the lathe operations. Now we've gone over the safety and the basics of the lathe, we can begin going over the parts. The most basic part, and the part that all lathes have in common, is the chuck. The chuck can be operated by the chuck key. The chuck key is used to open and close the jaws to hold the workpiece in place. After tightening the chuck, always remember to take the chuck key out of the chuck. The next part we will go over is the carriage. Included in the carriage is the tool post, the power switch, and the levers that control the position of the tool post. The carriage is operated by two hand wheels that control the depth and the position of the carriage. The tool post is the part of the lathe that holds the bit that it takes away from material that you see here. There are many different bits that perform different cuts for the lathe that we will demonstrate later in the video. The last part we will talk about is the tailstock. The tailstock consists of two levers. One to control the tightness of the tool, and the other to lock the tailstock in place. The tailstock has many purposes, some of which are to be used as a center to hold the workpiece in place, and another is to be used as a drill. Now that we've gone over the safety and the parts of the lathe, we can begin operating it. The first step of operating a lathe is deciding what cut you want to make on the workpiece. After you decide what cut you want to make on the lathe, you have to find an appropriate bit to use. There are many different bits to use for a lathe. To find the bit that corresponds with your cut, you have to use a material that is harder than the workpiece. While adjusting the lathe for operation, you want to make sure that the power is disconnected to avoid injury. The bit can be changed by using these three bolts you see here. The next step to making a cut is to determine the spindle speed. Generally, the harder the material that you will be cutting, the slower the spindle speed. This chart and these leathers are used to change the spindle speed. After the appropriate bit and speed are selected for the cut, you can place the workpiece in the chuck and turn the chuck key clockwise to lock it in place. Now that you're ready to begin operating the lathe, always make sure that the chuck key is out of the chuck, your hair is pulled back, there is no loose clothing, and you have your safety glasses on. For the cut I'll demonstrate today, we'll be using this carbide bit. We will also be using a spindle speed of 300 RPMs. The cut I'll be demonstrating today is to cut this workpiece down to 2 inches in diameter. Before we begin cutting, we must find the diameter of the workpiece by using a micrometer. The micrometer reads that the workpiece is 2 inches and 208 thousandths of an inch. This means to get the workpiece to exactly 2 inches, we must remove 0.208 of an inch. The first step is to turn the lathe on and slowly move in the bit until it gently touches the workpiece. The next step is to zero out the indicator. On the first cut of the lathe, we will take off 100 thousandths of an inch. To do this, we will set the indicator to 50 thousandths of an inch. Now we will begin on our first pass. As the micrometer indicates, we took off 100,000ths of an inch. The next pass, we will move the tool post in 40,000ths of an inch to take off a total of 80,000ths. Now we will make a final cut for a 2-inch diameter and polish and face the workpiece. And here we have the finished product with a 2-inch diameter. Although lathes primarily work on cylindrical objects, they are still very important for manufacturing many items and parts today. Lathes can very precisely and accurately cut and thread objects that otherwise would have to be made by hand. With CNC capabilities, lathes are especially important in modern times. CNC lathes can cut with much more precision using less time than manual lathes. I hope that this video demonstrates the basics of operating a lathe and taught about a machine that you might not have heard of before. Thanks for watching.